How would you like to make your first million? Today we have Will Harvey with us. This is the founder of Harvey Capital. So, Will, tell us, what are the 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Yeah, so this is off the cuff, as you know, but um, the 5 steps that I wrote down are the first one is to learn everything you can. So just start learning things that interest you, reading books, listening to podcasts. Just do all you can to absorb information. And then step two would be to figure out what is interesting, what interests you. For me, it was real estate. But it might be something completely different for someone else. It might be AI, it might be some other type of industry. So, just figure that out. And then once you have that thing that interests you and a lot about it, focus on it obsessively. Whether that's like I said, real estate for me was what I just focused in on. And, it's really all I've done. I've done a lot of different things in the real estate space. Um, but that is what I would say is key, is to just have an obsessive focus on whatever you're doing. That was three. And then number four would be to reinvest capital into the business to help it grow. If you're just pulling capital out and spending it on dumb things like cars and stuff like that, then you're not going to continue to grow it. So I would highly recommend people dump their earnings back into the business to scale it further from there. And the fifth step is just continue that loop. Once you start doing that, you'll then get more and more info, more and more data. You'll be able to make better decisions, and then you can pivot and make adjustments from there. So I would say those are my 5 steps.
1 out of 5 are real estate investors. Can you tell us what's the good part and the ugly? That is the best. We have so many. Say, couple year to have 5. That's the
Hey
right.
Harry, I'm having trouble hearing you. It's like really cutting out.
So 1 out of 5 entrepreneurs came to the podcast are real estate investors. Why do you think that we have such a many real estate investors? Yes.
I think that real estate it's very simple and easy to understand how real estate works. It's been around forever and probably will continue to exist in some fashion. I don't see AI replacing where we need to live and sleep and all that. So, I think that real estate just it's very simple. It makes sense intuitively and for a lot of people. So I think that's why a lot of people, including myself, gravitate towards it.
Tell us your story. How you decide to become a real estate investor? What's the story?
Yeah, so I got started in the mortgage business back in late 2015, and I learned the business for about a year, and then I went off into sales, into loan origination, and I just caught the real estate bug from there. I learned how real estate financing works, and it just interested me from day one. So I bought my first property in 2016, and then bought another one in 2017, then another in 2018, and then I realized that I didn't really like owning single family properties. I didn't like being a landlord and dealing with all that. So I pivoted to multifamily, where I partnered with other people, and it was more a strategy where I was on the finance side, where I was more raising capital, and I wasn't dealing with tenants and all that stuff. So that's that's how I got into it. And then over time, I slowly migrated more and more to the capital side of things. So I did a couple projects that one's a boutique hotel, the other's a wedding venue. I own those with partners, and we actually still own them today. So those are cool. But after that, I started to get more into lending and investing more so as a limited partner, and that's really what I've done since then. And now I really just focus on my hard money lending business, where we're lending funds to real estate investors that are flipping properties or buying a property and turning it into a rental. And we provide funding a bank or a traditional lender cannot. So that's my main focus now. But I do also I do invest in public markets in real estate through the public markets as well. So that's another interesting.
Regarding the money lending, can you explain a little bit more to the audience on how they can benefits?
Yeah. So hard money is it basically fills in the gap between having all cash to buy a property. If you have all cash, then you can obviously go out. You don't have to get your loan approved because it's just cash. Um, and then on the other end of the spectrum is going to a bank. So you go to a bank, you have to give them all your financials, your tax returns, your W-2, just all that stuff, bank statements. You have to, they put you through the ringer. And most of the time, they can't finance properties that are in bad shape, that need a lot of work. But those are exactly the types of properties that house flippers and investors look for, and the most opportunity are in the ones that need a lot of work. So we fill in the gap between those two sources, where someone can come to us and we can move a lot faster than a bank. We don't, it's our own money. We're not beholden to any kind of institutional guidelines. So I used to be a house flipper, so I understand how that works and can look at a deal and decide if it's a good one, or if I think it's something that we don't want to get involved with. And we can get a decision to someone really, really fast. And there's a lot less documentation. It's just a lot simpler. Now, it comes with higher interest rates and more fees collected, but that's what you pay for just the convenience factor and just the simplicity in it. So hopefully that answers your question.
So the interest can fluctuate, and do you guys cover all United States?
I'm sorry, what were
What areas do you cover?
Oh, what areas? Yeah, we're just in Virginia right now, so I'm in the Richmond area, and that's my main focus. But we do some markets outside of there as well. Right now, we're just Virginia. I don't want to spread too wide because I know that I talked to a lot of real estate guys who have gone through challenging times like the 2008 crash, and a lot of them just say the same thing where when they spread beyond their markets that they really know, that's when they get into trouble, and that's how they've gotten into trouble. So we want to really double down on the markets that we know and understand, and real estate is so localized, so that's what we're focused on.
So the wait, tell us what has been your biggest challenge growing your business and how you overcome that challenge.
So the biggest challenge thus far has been we've been capital constrained. So like I said, it's our own money that we're using. We're not going out and selling these loans to, some institution. So we have to raise our own capital, and we have to find investors, and that has been the biggest bottleneck so far. Luckily, we've had a lot of demand as far as borrowers go. So we've had, good loan opportunities. We have a healthy pipeline of loan opportunities coming our way. But we've really been constrained on capital, and how I've been dealing with that, it's sort of a work in progress right now, but I'm in the process of launching a 506c fund that will allow us to raise more capital and scale this further.
So it's interesting about the area because when you specialize in one area, you understand better the deals. Is that correct? So tell us what ideally to focus in one area.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think when you really find a niche that you um, want to really interest you and you good at, and that you like doing, I mean, you have to like doing it. So I think when you find that, um, you should really double down on it and really focus on it. That's been my experience, at least. I've tried a lot of things in real estate. I've been in the investment real estate space for about 10 years now, and it took a while for me to realize what I like, what I don't like. And I think you just have to go through that and go through the trial and error of, I had rental properties and I didn't like that. I didn't like dealing with tenants. I had partners in different syndicated deals, and that was fun, but it just wasn't a thing ultimately. And I flipped houses, and don't get me wrong, me and my partner, we did well, and we flipped houses. It's not like it failed. We never had one lose money, and on some of them we made a lot of money, and it just wasn't really it just didn't excite me. It wasn't interesting to me, and I didn't like dealing with tenants, and I'm sorry, I didn't like dealing with contractors and all that. So, once I started lending, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I like spending time in an Excel spreadsheet and analyzing deals, and so for me that really works, and it's what I now focus on. But it took a while to get there, and but I recommend that to anyone wealth is built by really focusing. It's not, if you have a ton of different side hustles, I don't think that that's really a way to create wealth.
Yeah, and then you have to find what you love, right? And so when my first business was in real estate 20 years ago in London, we were renting the houses and then renting individually by unit. They
Oh,
call it
nice.
rent to rent and call you. But again, you see, you go through this journey and then you have to deal with tenants and with lots of them. Every day something happens. And
Exactly.
then I started to do events. I invited property investors, 100 lenders, Airbnb. We were doing property events. That was more fun. So that's why I have my company now, Speakers at least. We do events. I speak all over the world. So but little by little, you start to pivot. Yeah, and they have money lender. Yeah, if you like to sit and to analyze deals, it's amazing
Yeah.
because literally you can make money while you sleep. It's not for everybody. I like the operation and a little bit sitting in front of the spreadsheet is not my cup of tea. You see, so different people have different things.
Exactly.
But then the multifamily will tell us about when you went that transition from single landlord to multifamilies. So while you were doing big developments,
Yeah, yeah.
raising
We
finance for this as equity partner, or how that
Yeah,
work?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll jump in that in a sec, but I first want to go to your point about how you started doing events and you love it, and you don't like sitting in Excel spreadsheets. And I'm looking at the pictures behind you of all these events that you're a part of and have put on, and I'm getting anxiety just looking at that. I don't Not my thing. I don't like doing that, and I don't like dressing up. I'm wearing a hoodie and sweatpants right now.
And
So
people, and
everybody's different.
a lot of people around. Yeah.
Everybody's different, and you just got to figure out what excites you. And that happens to be an Excel spreadsheet for me, but obviously a lot of people are going to look at that and think it's the most boring thing on the planet. But back to your question about multifamily. Yeah, we were focused on value add multifamily investments, and I'm still invested in a few of those as a limited partner. So I started in 2019 investing in those, and I still have some of them from back around that time where I'm invested. I get a quarterly distribution payment, and it's a good way to own real estate and take advantage of the benefits that go along with that, like the tax benefits and all that, but without having to manage anything. So yeah, so those projects are mainly ones where an older property is purchased and the rents are below market and there's a path to go in, renovate units and increase the rental income, increase the amount of rent that is charged, and ultimately that will increase the value of the property. So that's the the strategy in it.
So the most important, I think, in the vehicle, right? Because property business fulfill my dream. It's just started with one part, and exactly like you said, when you do it, you make money, and eventually you keep moving and moving until you find the solution, the way that you're comfortable with, right? And
That
this interesting thing that it's been on the space. I realized that I didn't like tenants that much. And I was doing the property events. One speaker came to me in the green room, in the green room, and told me, Barry, it's Sunday evening. A tenant call you because the boiler is broken in London in week 10 time. And you get
oh
angry
man.
because of the call. You don't like that call. Then you shouldn't be in the renting business. And I'm like, wow, that's an interesting one because who want to have that call?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
So
But some guys just like the chaos. I loan money to guys that own hundreds of units and they have tons of different houses and they love the chaos. They just thrive in that world where they're always having to fix stuff and deal with maintenance requests and some guys just like it.
yeah, I think like you said, everybody's different.
Yep.
And that's a little bit more about how money lending because they are facing, but you need to know what you're doing, right? You need to know how to evaluate deals. The few tips for our audience, how you can evaluate the deal between lending the money and how much percentage of rate, depend on the deal, you can give us compared versus the bank.
Yeah, so you're asking me just how we underwrite deals and what we look at. Yes. The biggest thing that I want to focus on is the value of the property today and then the value of the property when it's supposed to be, all fixed up. So if you look at if it's a 3-bed, 2-bath property that's, 2,000 square feet, we want to focus on ones that they're it's very easy to run comparable properties and find comps. If if it's a rural property out in the country, for instance, that's probably something we're going to get less we're not going to be as excited to do a deal like that. We want to do deals that are in cookie cutter neighborhoods that are easy to comp. And my recommendation, especially for anyone new, is to focus on those types of properties. If you're trying to flip them, I would not do a rural property unless you're just buying it for an absolute steal of a price because it's just difficult to to value those kinds of properties. I've run into some issues with those ones flipping houses where we made a lot less than we thought because, we thought the value was going to be one thing and it ended up being a lot lower than that because it was a rural property. Whereas if you buy a property that's in a neighborhood with lots of other properties around it that are similar, it's just much easier to, the value is a lot the floor value is a lot higher than a rural one, which could be a lot, the floor could be all over the place. It could be a lot lower than what you think it is. So that's the biggest thing is focus on the value of the property. We focus on the ARV, the after repair value, which is simply what we think the property will sell for when it's all fixed up. So, you know, also want to we also want to make sure that the person that we're working with is qualified and knows what they're doing and has a good plan. They've estimated their rehab budget properly, so we look at all that information. And luckily with AI today, we can quickly analyze things and we can summarize things a lot faster and move a lot quicker because of that. We have a lot of processes in our business that where we use AI now. So I just think that focusing on the value of the property and the character of the person that is doing it, those are the two biggest things. Now, I won't bore everyone to death with all the details and our
Well,
actual
but
process, but that's the main thing.
so how you structure this? You become a partner with the person that had the deal. You just lend the money. How? Let's say I find a house below market value and I want to fix it up, and I'm coming to see you, and I live in Virginia, right? I have to live in Virginia for that. So how the process work?
Yeah, we are just loaning them the money. So it's a loan with an interest rate on it, and we don't make any more money than that. And we
The loan for them to buy the house in full.
correct. Yeah, we loan them money to buy the house, and we do a first lien deed of trust that's secured to the property. So that's our protection in the event that, they stop paying us. Virginia has good foreclosure laws, so, if you can take back a property a lot faster in Virginia than you can elsewhere. Now, we've only done about 30 or so loans, and we, praise the Lord, knock on wood, haven't had to take any properties back yet, but we know it's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when.
Will, and then from what time they have to start to pay back the loan?
Our loans are structured. We have three different options. It's on our website. You can see it, but from 3 to 9 months are typically what we do. Now we're flexible and we'll go if someone needs more time than that, and we can work something out that works for us and the borrower. Then we would be open to that. But our typical product is a loan that's anywhere from 3 to 9 months.
And they need to have the money to repair the house, or you guys give them this money also?
It depends on the deal. So we have done that and we advertise that and we can do that. But it will not go over 70% our max loan amount, which includes the funds that we give them for the actual property purchase, plus the holdback. We can hold back funds for renovation, and give them to the borrower in draws as they complete work.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
Yeah. We don't give them the money up front. We wait till the work is completed and then we'll release funds. But we won't go over 70% of the ARV. That's our absolute max. Right now, our portfolio of loans is about 65% of the ARV. So we feel like we're in a pretty good spot. And the ARV is our ARV. We come up with that number, not the borrower. We look at what the borrower thinks it's worth, but ultimately we're doing our own calculations and running valuations ourselves.
And towards any tips for our audience, how they can get ballpark valuation of the property?
Oh man, there's so many tools out there today. We use PropStream. That's one of them. We order AVMs. Sometimes we'll order
AVMs. What is this?
an
AVMs?
AVM is what does it stand for? Automated valuation model. Automated valuation model, and it's where it's basically you plug in the property's address, and it costs pay like $10 for them. They're not much. And it gives you, it basically is an algorithm that looks at the comps, and we're just trying to get multiple sources of what the property is likely worth. And if we can confidently run an AVM, usually an AVM will tell you its confidence score, and you can look at it. And if you understand real estate, if there's a handful of comps and they're all around there and they all look like the subject property, then it's probably a pretty good valuation. But if it, as I was saying earlier, if it's a property that's out in a rural area and the comps are, further away from the property or don't quite match what the subject property is, that's where you want to pay more attention and either cut your loan proceeds if you're a lender or just don't get involved with the loan.
And then in London, in United Kingdom, when acquiring these houses, we remember that we used to tell the realtor, go and see the house, okay? And we're gonna fix it and you're gonna rent it. And because the realtor knew that he's gonna rent it, he will tell you all the problem of the houses.
Oh, that's funny.
We didn't even need to go. The realtor we said, look, this is how we're gonna do. We're gonna buy this house, we're gonna fix it up, but you are gonna rent it. So tell us what needs to be fixed. And the realtor,
Exactly.
really? You need to fix this doesn't work,
It'd be
this.
a mile
But
long
they,
list.
yeah, no need to go to the house to see anything. We already knew.
Exactly.
The
That's
realtor was
funny.
doing the whole thing. And then yeah, we do it in United Kingdom. Like, I've done property for over 20 years. I must still do.
Wow.
I'm still involved in
Yeah, that's
so
great.
yeah. So there are a lot of things also for buying the house below market value. I think that I have a friend also that he calls and he offer, make an offer in the air, right? And if after the fifth time that he calls, somebody accepted, he thinks that he's offering too cheap and that he's leaving money on the table. So he goes back, offer less, and then he called 20 deals in the area. And if somebody telling him yes after 20, then is his mark that he's actually getting the property below market
Oh,
value.
that's funny. That's
Sell if you offer and at the fifth call somebody say yes,
you're
you're
off
of much.
much. Yeah, right.
They say if after 20, between 20 and 25, somebody said yes, you are about in the right thing that you
Exactly.
can offer. So yeah, man, so many years in property, listening a lot of stories, and like I said, we organize the big events. So again,
That's awesome.
tell us, like I said, 500 millionaires have attended this podcast. One out of five are involved in real estate. They do harmony lending, they do development, they do single family, they do warehouses, they do storage, you name it, right?
Yeah.
Over 100. Tell us what is the good, bad, and the ugly of become a realtor? Because people listen the podcast and see all these real estate millionaires coming here, and everybody, people might think that it's easy to become a millionaire in real estate, and uh, and it's business like anything else. Because when something goes wrong in real estate, because I done it, it you lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
When thing goes good, it's fantastic. But when something goes wrong, you take hit. We all been there, been in this space. But Happy, tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the real estate. And what advice do you have for the young generation listening to us, listening this podcast? They see so many realtors, so many millionaires, and we want them to go in business if they real estate or they want to choose that. I totally 100% support, even if you don't like real estate. Yeah. 1 million I came to this podcast. He exited maybe like 20 business. And he told me, I had 20 business. None of them were my passion.
That's
I
funny.
do the number, make the money. I said, when I see business, I see the right vehicle, if it's going to make money, and this is what I do. Yeah, none of them my passion. Don't care about my passion. I care about the dynamic. So for our people listening, either you like it or you don't like the property. If it's your passion or not, I strongly believe that it's going to be a great vehicle for you to find out what you love. Yeah, a
Yeah.
great vehicle. But tell us, Will, what advice do you have for the young people and the good, the bad, and the ugly of property?
Yeah, the good is obviously you don't have to look far to see the good. You can hear people tell stories and you can hear, I mean, there was a flip that me and my partner did back in early 2021 and while we had it under contract, the market just went up and up and up this was around COVID time, and it was great. We thought we were going to make about 60 or so thousand on it. We ended up net our net on it was about 150,000. So, that was the good. That was, him and I split that. So in about days, I made $75,000. And I mean, there's like better than that. That's a lot of money in a very short period of time. And that's obviously good. And there's others like that as well. And a lot of people have had deals like that. A lot of people have had deals a lot bigger than that. So, you don't have to look far to see the good. Tons of stories on that. The bad, when well, I guess the bad and the ugly, I think they're both kind of lumped in together, is when, for me at least, where I've made mistakes, there's a that me and some partners, we lost $70,000 on it. So, that was an expensive learning lesson. And the reason that happened is because I didn't have a lot going on at the time. I was kind of bored, and there was a property that we got a lead for. We were running Google ads, and someone got in touch with us and wanted us to buy their house. And the property was more expensive than what we focused on, and we talked ourselves into doing it. It was mainly me. I was the one leading this deal. We talked ourselves into doing it in a time when everything was really well in real estate. And right after that, this is early 2022, the Fed started increasing interest rates. So then everything slowed down, and we couldn't refinance the property as quick as we wanted to, and we just burned a lot of cash on hard money costs, and it was just challenging property. We couldn't figure out. I didn't have a coherent plan as far as what we were gonna do with it. I thought we might do it as a short-term rental. We might flip it, and neither of those really worked. So we ultimately ended up dumping it about 18 months after buying it, and we lost $70,000. So that was. I think you have to go through that to really, and it cements in your brain the mistake that you made, and you'll never do that again. I have really learned more from the losers than the winners. The losers, a losing deal.
Absolutely. When you lose is when you learn, right?
Yes, exactly. So, I think that's what in real estate, especially if you're using debt. And anything when you're using debt, it will magnify the good or bad. So using debt is great when things go well, but using it when things don't go well leads to, bad outcomes. So, another thing is that real estate is not a lot of people uh, a lot of people, say that real estate is a completely passive thing and it's just passive income. That's not true. I'd say anybody thinking the only way it's passive is if you invest as a limited partner and you're just investing your capital in a deal like I used to do in the past with those larger multifamily deals where you're putting it in the hands of someone that's going to run it entirely. So that is passive. But if you're buying a rental property that you're going to manage, there's nothing passive about that. It's more passive than having a
If
job,
you
I would
cash
say.
flow,
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say?
I always say it will give you good cash flow, but there is no passive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it'll cash flow nicely, then you can afford to hire a good property manager, and that makes it that makes it more passive. But ultimately, when things go bad, when you have tenant issues and things come up, you're the one taking the calls for those.
Avi, if someone is in love from this conversation, how people can find you, how this process work?
They can just go to my website. It's harvey-capital.com, or they can just shoot me an email. It's will@harvey-capital.com.
Thank you so much, Avi, for the broadcast. I really appreciate it. We wish you well. Keep doing what you love. The spreadsheets, my biggest,
Yeah,
but
no, it's for me.
but I think that it's also a great model because you can, if you know what you're doing, you did. That's the other thing as well, Will, that in order for you to be a hard money lender, you need to be done some flipping before. You don't learn this stuff on the school.
Yeah.
So this is, you have to evolve to hard money lender. And I have a lot of friends that had this business in United States and also in United Kingdom. But ones that do what you do exactly, they have very good 10 years or 15 years in real estate industry. They understand the dynamics, and then is when they finally test they have one.
That's right.
This is need to clearly know what you're doing. So thank you so much for the podcast, for all of you following the broadcast in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Will break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.